At least once a week, a stranger will come up to me and tell me that I look like Clark Kent. Which always tends to bother me, and not just because it's generally followed by some variation on the phrase, "Hey, nice glasses, fuckface." I don't even think it's a particularly inaccurate description. I am a generic enough looking white guy of a certain height. I put pomade in my hair. I do choose to wear this particular pair of glasses. Now, the real reason that being called Clark Kent bothers me is because every time it happens, it forces me to take a look deep inside myself, into the nethermost regions of my soul, to ask myself whether I've truly earned that moniker. Because the whole point of Clark Kent is that there is no Clark Kent. It's an assumed persona designed to blend into its own surroundings so that Superman can always be there at the ready, able to leap a tall building or outrun a speeding bullet the second the need arises. Is that me? I can play the mild-mannered reporter as well as the next guy, but is there anything else hiding behind these thick-rimmed Warby Parkers? Am I, in fact, a hero? And I think the answer to that question is, yeah. And I adopted a dog from a shelter. I recycle when it's extremely convenient for me to recycle. And these days, I think that's pretty much all it takes. We play so fast and loose with the term hero in this country that we've essentially devoided it of any real meaning. Just look at who we consider to be our heroes in America. Our politicians, our athletes, our teachers. Because if teachers are heroes, as the conventional wisdom would seem to dictate, then let me ask you this. Why are we all so fucking dumb? I know that I am. I'm so dumb that in the shower this morning, I blinked for a second longer than I usually do. And I honestly thought that the electricity had gone out in my apartment. My first thought wasn't, oh, it's dark in this room because my eyes are closed. It was a fucking con ed. I'm so dumb that my honest-to-God contingency plan, in the event that I should ever find myself in legal trouble, is to curry favor with my arresting officer by telling him that I know Odafin Tutuola, who is a fictional NYPD detective played by Ice-T on television's Law & Order Special Victims. So I think it's pretty clear that somewhere along the line, a couple of teachers have failed. Even our folk heroes failed to live up to that mantle. Look at Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Appleseed is a 33-year-old hobo whose only article of clothing is made by Oshkosh B'gosh. He has one job, planting trees, and I'm pretty sure he's not even doing that correctly. You ever see a picture of Johnny Appleseed? He just traipses around, just haphazardly throwing seeds on barren terrain. I'm no arborist, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Hey, Johnny, what have you been up to? Oh, you know! Disrupting fragile ecosystems by forcibly introducing foreign vegetation, sure to soak up precious natural resources. And fuck it. Johnny Appleseed fucks a lot. And so, with the bar set so incredibly low, it may be tempting to think that maybe true heroes don't exist. After all, that we're alone, that there's no one out there fighting against the forces of darkness and negativity so pervasive in our collective human experience. But to that, I say, you're just looking in the wrong places. Because the true heroes among us, those who display true courage and self-sacrifice, aren't found in the pages of comic books. They're not fighting crime in Gotham. They're fighting in the tertiary markets of Akron, Louisville, and that human science experiment known as New Rochelle, New York. Sorry, Rick. As you have at this point already intuited, I am, of course, referring to that league of ordinary gentlemen known as the Professional Bowlers Association. American men doing a uniquely American thing, and doing it with a grace and a poise that borders on the ethereal. And if that doesn't strike you as heroic, well then I question your patriotism. Because what these men represent is the truest embodiment of the American dream. Because from the time we're old enough to comprehend it, we're told by our parents, by our teachers, by Mr. Rogers and his creepy gang of indentured servants, that if we just work hard enough, keep our noses to the grindstone, stay in school, stay off drugs, then there's nothing that we can't achieve. Which is, of course, a lie. The basic reality is that for most of us, there's remarkably little that we actually can achieve. I would love to be a college professor, but I was born with a brain that thinks, yeah, but I bet Ice-T can arrest people in real life though, right? And no one's hiring that guy to shape the minds of the next generation. Say what you will about endless possibilities. The sad reality is that the majority of us are predestined for a life of banal mediocrity. Or so you would think until you watch professional bowling. And then you watch professional bowling, and then you believe again. Because what you're watching, when you're watching professional bowling, is a league of decidedly average men performing in a decidedly unaverage manner. Men who wake up and look in the mirror every morning and say, yes, I am flawed. I have the body of Louis Anderson. Adult onset juvenile diabetes. And what's known in the medical community as shockingly bad psoriasis. But you know what? Screw it. Because I can either be resigned to my lot in life, or I can choose to do something about it. I can choose to throw a 16-pound ball at 10 wooden pins. And I can do it again, and again, until I become better at that one thing than anyone else in the world. And in that moment, I will be extraordinary. In that moment, I won't be Gary, the guy from work who only has one big toe. I'll be Gary, professional bowler. And in 1991, there was no more professional a bowler than Del Ballard Jr. Del had planned on becoming an accountant in his hometown of Richardson, Texas, until he one day decided that his life was destined for something much greater. At the tender age of 19, he burst onto the PBA circuit with a whirlwind force that can only be described as Herculean. Unbeatable from day one, he became the first player in the history of the game to earn a six-figure paycheck from a single tournament appearance, and despite being saddled with the unfortunate nickname Baldo, he quickly assumed his role as the exemplar of the early 90s bowling elite, and did it all with an air of grace and humility and Midwestern every-guyness that was nothing short of inspiring. He was America's bowler. He was my bowler. And in 1991, there was no one who could stop him. No one. That is, but Pete Weber. brash young upstart from the hard-scrabble hills of St. Anne, Missouri. Bent on nothing short of total chaos and destruction, Pete Weber, the son of legendary PBA Tour founder Dick Weber, was a bowler of a different ilk entirely, the likes of which the world had never seen. A self-described action bowler, he would earn his designation as the bad boy of bowling through what can only be described as a bacchanalian revelry in the excesses of booze, cocaine, and willfully wanton women found dotting the periphery of the tour. Over the course of what was to be an undeniably illustrious career, the majority of which was spent wearing Oakley sunglasses indoors, he would go on to serve several alcohol-related suspensions, appear on the cover of Storm Bowling magazine with a horned Komodo dragon draped seductively over his shoulders, and single-handedly bring the crotch chop gesture back into the collective American consciousness. All throughout the 1991 season, Ballard and Weber battled for bowling supremacy, trading places at the top of the tour rankings as the nation sat by, riveted. Never had the quintessential battle between good and evil been so concrete, so personified, so incredibly and deliriously tangible. Would justice and humility ultimately win the day, or would ego and anarchy prevail? Those questions would be answered, and answered in spectacular fashion, when the two finally met head-to-head. March 2nd, 1991, Baltimore, Maryland, the championship match of the Fairlanes Open. It was the match of the century, a battle for the ages, strikes, trumping spares, with neither man able to gain any traction. In the end, it would come down to the last frame, as the stars had always foretold it would. We take you now to that fateful day, to Baltimore, Maryland, to that epic final frame.
15 times Triple Crown. His opponent, Del Ballard, needs only one part, the PBA National, to be the fourth Triple Crown winner, Bo, and he's won 5 total in all big ones.
Yes, he is. That man knows how to win, but he's going against a proven winner with that mystique, the Weber mystique. He needs a strike here to take the lead. 2 strikes.
And again, Bo 7/10.
That would take the title. Anything less is Weber's championship. 7 for all the money.
Three Tigers on the approaches here at Fairlanes King Point.
I've never seen Del Ballard so charged up, so aggressive. 7 pins is no gimme. We've seen when the players seem to miss, they get 7 or less, so it's not over yet.
Mighty Casey had struck out. I was 8 years old, but in that moment I was no longer a child. Thrust into the very adult recognition that the world truly is a cold and distant place, where 9 times out of 10, Pete Weber will come out on top. But I also learned something else that day. I learned that there's a beauty in fighting an unbeatable fight. That there's an honor in not accepting the destiny that's been so casually thrust upon you. That, in the face of 1 million people yelling, "Hey, Baldo, go back to East Texas," you can either choose to turn tail and run away, or you can choose to take Pete Weber to the last round of the 10th frame. And in that battle, you may not emerge a winner, but you will emerge a hero. So tonight, I salute you, my hero, Del Ballard Jr., a teacher among teachers, and a man among men.